Hello, I'm Johan from the Scouts, from the German Scout Association DPSG, and I'm here on the COP19 in Warsaw on behalf of WASM. And I've got here a nice interview guest, and I would like to have got a nice interview with her. And at first, maybe you can introduce yourself briefly.
Thank you. I'm Sabnam. I'm from Bangladesh. I'm working with CPRD, which is working in the field of climate change policy and politics, and now we are going to work in the climate change and education sector.
Okay, that's interesting. So I think you have got a lot to tell us about the topic of climate change and how your country is affected. So maybe you can tell us, what is your position? Why are you here at the COP and what are you presenting, so to say?
As I'm working, if I say from my personal aspects, then I can say, as I'm working in the field of climate change related issues in the NGO, then we have a strong influence on the policy makers. Like we conduct research work, and on the basis of this research work, the other researcher can do more work, or this can play a great role to make some kind of strategies by the policymakers. Like one research we go through on migration because of the climate change, and that research we find that lots of people are migrating from the climate hotspots to the internal part of our country.
Okay.
So how they will be provided with their human basic rights is a question. So the decision maker or the policy makers have to think about that, how they are going to feed that migrants, that climate migrants.
Can you tell me, because you just mentioned that the people move from the climate hotspots to like inside the country, can you tell me where are these climate hotspots and why do they have to move to the inner country?
In our country, the impacts of climate change are large, like starting from heavy rainfall, then flooding, then riverbank erosion, then sea level rise, salinity intrusion, and in northern part we have desertification and less rainfall.
Okay.
And with the less rainfall, the rainfall is not regular. That at past we know that at the time we will have rain, and then we prepare ourselves for going agricultural work. But nowadays we cannot predict that when we will have rain and when we will have the rain.
Okay.
So it has an impact on the agriculture also.
Yeah.
Way. And the climate hotspots, when there is desertification in northern part, then people cannot go for their work that they did in the past. That's why for their livelihood they have to move another part.
Okay.
And when there is something like slow onset event, okay, but when there is sudden event like flooding or cyclones, then
Okay.
you are forced to move
Yes.
in another place. Then at your original place you will not get not even the drinking water.
Yeah.
So you have to move.
Okay.
So this kind of migration is happening in our country. And not only the internal migration, I think migration from our country to the other countries is also occurring, and in the case different development, especially United States are receiving that people, but not as a climate migrant, but in other names, like social refugees or political refugees.
Yeah. So you say right now it's not fair to state that they are not like climate refugees or climate migrants.
The term climate refugee is very, very, from my point, it's not a correct term, and we should not use that one.
Okay.
We can go for climate migrant, but not the refugee, because when you are a refugee, then you are just out of any kind of social rights.
Okay.
You don't have any identity then.
And I've heard like that the sea level rise in Bangladesh is really severe.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that, or maybe give us an example?
Yeah, the sea level rise, something like that, it's dependent on the temperature and also some other factors. But if I just only think about the temperature and take about the other factors, then I can say if there is like 1 meter sea level rise because of the temperature rise, then it will inundate about 20 to 23% of the country land.
Okay, 20 to 23%.
It's huge, because Bangladesh is a very small country and its population is huge, so it will be quite difficult, not quite, it will be hardly difficult for the government to feed these people in another place or accommodate them or rehabilitate them in other.
Okay. do you think we as Scouts can somehow contribute to that one? I mean, like, to reduce the effects of that climate change?
Yes, you can contribute in several ways. Like in Bangladesh, we have also scouting, and they work in different sectors or different places. Like we have some kind of tree plantation program, and they are the scout. Those work in the school. That's just child there. This is one kind of social work. They go for tree plantation nearby the coast because it helps to decrease the intensity of the cyclones or something coming from the Bay of Bengal.
Okay, yeah.
So this kind of program you can participate. You can also make people aware that how can they take the precaution before the events and after the event, what can they do instead of migrating to other places. What type of activities they can take in, because of the adaptation.
Yeah. Okay, I think that is already a good example. So therefore, Sabnam, I would like to thank you and wish you all the best here at the conference.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for inviting me to have this kind of interview.